Knowing that the Department of Education is going to resume collection efforts on defaulted student loans within the next little over a week here, May 5th, it just doesn't sit well with me with all the harm that's been brought to student loan borrowers. And then when I read stuff like this with the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon talking about or criticizing certain colleges and the degrees. So what's interesting about it is, first and foremost, in your master promissory note, the Department of Education, there is no guarantee of a quality education. So when you take out federal student loans, they don't guarantee that you're going to receive a quality education when you take on this student loan debt. But what was interesting to me about what the Secretary of Education talked about was about the quality of the student loans in these worthless degrees. So not only are federal student loan borrowers, stuck with this debt that there's just no end in sight, but also that the degrees that the department is aware are worthless. And not only that, she speaks about in this hearing that the schools are aware of that and they still encourage borrowers to enroll into these programs where there is no the degree is not going to compensate in a sense for the debt, when they go out here into the job market. And she talked about accountability as a two-way street. And I feel like a lot of times, a majority of the times, that the Department of Education likes to deflect on what their role is, and that as if they're not in contract with these institutions and that they don't hold the cards to be able to hold these schools accountable for not providing borrowers with degrees or programs that they can be successful with, so that you're not just stuck with this debt. But I guess in the master promissory note it says they don't guarantee a quality education. But as I continue to read more things about this and learn more about student loan law, because I'm just like, this is all just unacceptable. But I will say, for borrowers who are dealing with who have taken on federal student debt and they have attended an institution who has made promises about their employability after they graduate from school, there is a program and it's called Borrow Defense to Repayment. Now, mind you, this particular application, this program is not something that is granted overnight. The forgiveness doesn't happen overnight. We still have a lot of borrowers who have put in these applications who are still waiting on a decision, but this is your avenue to go after a school who has made promises to you that were not upheld about your employability. If you do have a degree where you have taken on federal student loans and you're now, burdened with the debt, for a worthless degree. And I mean, we've seen the Secretary of Education, those are her words, worthless degrees that are no good out here in the job market. If that is something that happened to you, then you want to look at putting in a borrower's defense application. And mind you, when you get to this application, the application within itself, when you first actually skim over it or you first bring it up, it is 21 pages. But the most important information that you are going to have is in the instructions. And don't get me wrong, you want to read every single thing in this application. But when you put in a borrower's defense application, when you're in the live application, when it comes to the allegations, you're only going to see the allegations that pertain to you. You won't see all of the allegations that are listed on the application. So you want to make sure that you are reading over each one of these allegations. But when it comes to employment prospects, if your school misrepresented its job placements rate, misled you about your likelihood of obtaining a job, these are reasons for you to put in a borrower's defense application. I actually have a step-by-step cheat sheet on my website where I walk you through this entire application. I also assist you with getting your language and your verbiage together, how to find supporting evidence, and all of those things to help you with getting this application completed. Of course, you can always go to the Student Aid website. That is your free resource for information online. There's a lot of great free information as well. But I encourage borrowers to put this application in. It is still very much available. The program is still available. If you have federal student loans that you have utilized to take on federal student to attend a institution, and there were promises made to you about these guarantees of employment and what your employability and other things that are in this application that took place at the institution, you want to submit this application. And yeah, just go to the Student Aid website. Everything that you need to know about the borrower's defense application is here. We have a lot of schools who have already, a lot of borrowers who have already had their loans discharged under the program. We have a quite extensive amount of schools here that you can see that were already have group discharges where borrowers have already been discharged due to, practices like this, practices like, encouraging borrowers to enroll, knowing that the program, that there was no the degree was not going to do anything for them. You know, the program just wasn't successful. I mean, they have data to actually show that. They know what their employability looks like in these programs. But yeah, it's just something I wanted to show you guys, that get your browse defense application submitted. And if you need assistance with that outside of the student aid website, you feel like you need that one-on-one, I can assist you with it. And like I said, I have a cheat sheet on my website as well that'll help you with getting everything you need to get done with this application.